Those first few days on the field can be dangerous. Just last week, a 15-year-old collapsed and died after the football drills on New York's Staten Island. Sharyl Attkisson talked with two other families who lost their sons in the heat.
Florida high school football star Isaiah Lawrenson was just 16, but already had an athletic scholarship offer from Notre Dame, a 6'3", 286-pound powerhouse. But last summer, on his first two-a-day practice in stifling heat, Isaiah collapsed and died.
I just don't understand how this happened because, my son was in the hospital the year prior. He was hospitalized for heat exhaustion.
With the same coaches and at the same school?
Yes. I still don't understand how they allowed it to happen a second time.
Days later, Georgia high school football star DJ Searcy succumbed to a grueling 3-a-day practice schedule at a football camp. The last time his parents saw DJ alive, it was in this photo a fellow player texted to his mom's phone. Carlton Searcy was DJ's dad.
Jacqueline received a text message from one of the kids who had taken a picture of our son laying on the floor. And he told her that you need to check on your baby. But we still hadn't heard from the coaches. No one, even when we tried to call the coaches, no one would answer the phone.
Later, they learned he'd also collapsed after practice the night before and allegedly got no medical attention. Authorities in both cases blame other conditions, not the heat. Isaiah had a sickle cell trait, and they claim DJ had an undiagnosed heart condition. But their parents disagree. Today, they're announcing lawsuits over the school's alleged negligence. At least 78 football players in the U.S. have died of heat-related causes since 1975, 7 last year alone. Attorney Benjamin Crump represents Isaiah and DJ's families.
The NFL, the NCAA have more guidelines, more protections to protect adults than high schools have to protect children, and that's simply not acceptable. Every doctor to a one has said these deaths are completely avoidable. These children are dying because people aren't watching the signs.
Experts say if heat victims are simply immersed in a cold bath within 10 minutes of collapse, they all survive. University of Georgia researcher Michael Ferreira says all states should adopt guidelines from the National Athletic Trainers Association.
The first 5 days of football practice, or of any practice for that matter, is a maximum of 2 hours and no equipment except for a helmet in the sport of football.
Only 7 states have adopted the safety guidelines, which include having an athletic trainer and an ice bath on site.
There is no win that's worth the life of my child, or anyone's child, actually. I mean, he paid the ultimate price. So.
I just wish I had my son here,
Georgia passed the safety guidelines only after DJ's death.
Nice and slow.
For CBS This Morning, Sharyl Attkisson, Atlanta.